Have you ever had like a neighbor from hell or like a bad neighbor? Like Japan aside.
No.
Ever in England?
I've been pretty good. Yeah, I think you did. You mentioned it on Trash Taste.
Did I?
Had sex, yeah.
Oh no, that was actually a
that was
fine.
pleasurable.
That was a fine.
I enjoyed hearing the
that was a fine neighbor.
homie right
Yeah.
We high-fived.
No, we had a mutual understanding. They could have sex in the next room, and I could record podcasts whenever I want and be a YouTuber. It was great. They didn't complain at all, and I didn't complain.
Did you have a neighbor from hell?
Yeah, I did actually.
I never do. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, it was actually like the place I had moved to after that. So it was actually like the first place I'd moved into with Sydney, and we just had this guy living above us. And we didn't know this when we moved in, but we moved into this house that was basically like a HMO, so a house with like multiple occupancy, which is like basically a house that has been like cut up. It's been cut up to have several people living in it. So the walls, we didn't realize how thin the walls were, right? And we had a guy living above us that he was old. He was an older gentleman and definitely had a few screws loose, right? Because he said that he used to work for the police, right? Okay. And he would bring this up constantly, right? Because in this house that we were in, they had like heavy fire doors, right? So we'd have to like really be super careful when we were like closing the doors. Like there's like letting the doors go, but there's also like, because these doors were so heavy, sometimes you just have to like yank it in, and sometimes that yank was just a little bit too much power behind it, and it would just like make a loudish noise, right? And so this guy living above us, you know, at the beginning, he tried to be a nice neighbor, and we tried to be nice neighbors as well. And then we soon came to realize that this guy had like massive anger issues. Right. Like I'm pretty sure like one day he could be the nicest guy ever, and the next day he would just like blow up for like the smallest reasons. And we were just like, yeah, we kind of don't feel safe. So like every time we'd like maybe shut the door a bit too loudly, at first he'd like tell us, right? Be like, can you please shut the door a bit quieter? And we're like, sorry, like, you know, that was our bad. We knew about it. And so we'd be extra careful. But you know, when you go out in and out your house pretty often, right? And sometimes you just yank it a bit more harder than you would. Sometimes you yank it a bit harder than you intended to. So one time he told us to be careful. It's fine. Nothing happened for a month. And then at around 7 p.m., I just yanked it and I was like, oh shit, that was a bit loud. Literally comes downstairs, fucking, what the fuck did I tell you?
Jesus Christ.
Like, he literally full on fucking screamed. I'm like, yo, what the fuck is going on? And like, from that moment on, keep in mind, this was a month after the last time I had accidentally shut it a bit too loudly. I was like, yo, Sydney, I'm thinking we're living below a crazy guy here.
It's 7 p.m. Who gives a fuck?
Yeah, and it was 7 p.m. as well. It wasn't even in the dead of night.
What the fuck did I tell you a month ago?
Yeah. And like, I don't do the Japanese thing. Yeah. I go up to him and I'll knock on his door and like, yo, bro, let's talk it out. Come on. Let's come to an understanding here. And so, you know, we talk it out, and he's very polite and very calm.
The fuck?
That's how they get you, man.
He's very calm about it, right? Yeah. And we're just like, look, mate, this is the first place we've moved to with my new girlfriend. And he was saying, you know, just sometimes the walls are very thin, so just keep in mind that I'm right below you. I'm like, no, I totally get it. After like 10 p.m., that's when we're super quiet. We'd normally go to sleep because I got to work the next day as well. Yeah. But you know, sometimes we're not even talking at a loud kind of volume or whatever. So, you know, as long as you can understand that we are a couple and we talk as people do when someone else is in the house, then, you know, we'll try to keep it down at late hours. Cool. And so I go back downstairs, literally a week later, not even closing the door this time. I'm literally just having a normal volumed conversation with Sydney. And instead of shouting, he starts walking around like really loudly, like starts smashing down on the floor like this, right? I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Like, like me and Sydney were like, what the fuck is going on? So like, I go back upstairs and I'm like, is everything okay? Are you having like a stroke, a heart attack? What's going on? And he was like, look, you're being fucking loud, and I just wanted to teach you a lesson. right? This is what you get for speaking loudly. And I'm just like, what the fuck is going on? So like, this has literally scarred me for life, right? Because like, I was living in fear that this guy was going to do something.
Yeah.
Because like, over time, because we lived here for a year and a half, and obviously our relationship deteriorated, as it would when I felt like in fucking danger living in my own house, and Sydney felt in danger living in our house as well. Yeah. And so it got to the point where some days we'd just be talking, and then he'd just randomly start banging on like his fridge doors or like his cupboard doors, like making a lot of noise when he thought that we were making a lot of noise, and we were just like talking and having a normal conversation most of the time. Eventually the relationship went from me trying to talk it out with him to being like, dude, what the fuck is your issue? And he's like, bro, I used to work in the police. Don't fuck with me, man. If I wanted, I'd call them over. I'd get all my mates. I'd get the boys over and I'd get you out. You like, or just say the word, just don't fuck with me. And I'm just like, fuck, Sydney, we got to move out as soon as possible. Like this was like one of the big reasons why we moved out. And so on the last night where we moved out, Sydney was already gone because she had gone back home to America. So it was just me and a mate talking. And so it was me and a mate talking, and we were watching a movie. So we weren't even talking. It was just the volume of the TV at that point, right? And we get this bang on the fucking door, right? And this guy starts like screaming full volume in my face, right? He's just like, I know you're about to fucking leave, and I'm glad you're about to fucking leave. But like, I need to give you one last piece of my mind. Like, fuck you. You've been the worst fucking neighbor of my entire life. And then he starts going off about how he's part of the police again. I'm like, bro, calm the fuck down. I'm like, at this point, this is probably the most pissed off I've been in my life. And I'm like, dude.
Monk mode went out the window.
No. I'm just like, dude, back the fuck off. And then he looks at me, right? Looks at me straight in the eye, and he's like, go on. Have a swipe. Go on. Because like I knew he wanted me to throw a punch, so he had a reason to call the police.
Yeah, of course.
And I straight up look him in the eye and tell him, dude, you don't know who you're dealing with here. I was a fucking monk. I'm not gonna punch you. I'm like, I'm fucking zen right now, dude. you can try as hard as you like. I'm not going to punch you. And he gets closer and he's like, go on, it's easy. Go on. I'm like, dude, just back the fuck off now, please. I'm going to re-enter my home. Please just fuck off.
That's so sad.
And that was the last I heard of him. And that was my neighbor from hell. I really hope that no one ever goes through that, because
How did you stay in there for a year and a half, dude?
Because our contract.
Oh, yeah, right.
Literally, like it was hell, because anytime that we wanted, and like we hated being in that house eventually, like after about 6 months to a year, we stayed at my parents' house as much as we could, and then eventually we just straight up just moved back to our parents' house, because it was like a fucking hell living in that house. And that's kind of why I never like want to. That's why I hate apartment sharing now, because that one experience has taught me. I just want my own space. I want no one like a noise complaint actually triggers me now. So I'm just like, oh,
dude, I don't
man.
fucking blame you after that. Jesus Christ.
And I had completely forgotten about that until we started talking about neighbors.
Well, there you go.
Wow.
Digging up old traumas looks like only on Trash Taste.
Wow, that's what an asshole.
Yeah, right? What a cunt. Jesus Christ.
I'm sure he's happy.
I'm sure he's happy now.
Yeah, I'm sure he's happy now.
No, like I think the early signs were there, because
I'm sure that he won't get a neighbor who's like better than you anyway. I'm sure he's pretty killing.
Right?
Yeah, no, because like I think there were early signs that were there, because he was telling me about the dude that lived in that place before was also a young person as well, and he would not stop complaining about how much noise he made and how loudly he shut the door. And I'm just like, I mean, I've shut the door. It's loud, but it's not like fucking shake the house loud.
Yeah.
You know,
I'll probably just get to the point where I just start making noise to piss him off. He can smack on my door all day, man. I've got the Sony WX thingies. Man. I'm noise cancelled, bro.
It's like noise cancelling headphones were made for.
What are we gonna do? Break into my house? Fuck off.
Like, was this apartment made out of paper? Like,
I think so, man. I don't know.
Jesus.
Well, because in UK, what is it, like 10 p.m. is the official time where you not allowed to make noise? Yeah, so right before 10 p.m., I'll probably just blast music non-stop, and then the moment 10 p.m. ATM hits, turn it off, and then rinse and repeat.
Yeah, what's the worst they can do? Because I was just trying to be a nice
If it's
neighbor.
before like a certain time, I think the noise pollution is below a certain decibel. I think they can't do anything.
Right.
Actually, I don't think they can do anything.
Like legally, they can't do
I
anything.
don't think so. I could be wrong on that. I don't think they can, as long as it's like within a reasonable amount.
Yeah. So it's just the arsehole tax that you pay then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you can just start ignoring him, right? Maybe he'll take a swing at you.
Maybe you know what I should have done? Just gotten some nice noise cancelling headphones.
Yeah, you should have, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, like, just like if he knocks on the door, who cares, bro? Just sleep through it. What's he gonna do? Break down your door? Like, nah, bro.
Just Kool-Aid Man.
Yeah.
You're like, you're too loud.
And then you can call the police.
Yeah.
You can see his friends.
Yeah.
If he has any.
I can see the
Yeah.
boys. I can see the
No,
boys
if
that
he
he
actually
keeps
has
talking
any.
about, right?
Missy Mans. Missy Mans right here.
People who brag about that kind of stuff normally don't have as strong ties as they make it out to be. You know? So,
No, they don't. No.
I mean, I feel like he was an ex-cop for a reason, right?
He's not a current cop.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fuck.